Lesson 2, approaches to curriculum designing. So these are the desired learning outcomes. Identify some familiar curriculum design and approaches to the design. The second one is the analyze the approaches in the light of how these are applied in the school setting. There are two types of curriculum design model. The first one is subject design. What subject are you teaching? What subject are you taking? These are two simple questions that the teacher and the learner can easily answer. It is because they are familiar with the subject design curriculum. The second one is the discipline design. This curriculum design model is related to the subject design. However, while subject design centers only on the cluster of content, discipline design focuses on academic disciplines. Subject-centered design. This is a curriculum design that focuses on the content of the curriculum. The subject-centered design corresponds mostly to the textbook because textbooks are usually written based on specific subject or course, meaning subject-centered design aims to focus on specific course because that is textbooks are usually written for. Subject design is the oldest and so far the most familiar design for teachers, parents, and other laymen. According to the advocates, subject design has an advantage because it is easy to deliver. So subject design curriculum is the most common curriculum design that they are using, and it is easy to deliver because it is commercially available. Textbooks are written and support instructional are commercially available, so it is easy to access, while teachers are familiar with the format because they were educated using also the design. So while they are the learners, the subject design is the curriculum that was used to educate also the teachers. However, the drawback of this design is that sometimes learning is so compartmentalized, meaning learning is categorized, which affect the students' learning experience as a whole. It stresses so much the content and forgets about students' natural tendencies, interests, and experience, meaning it forgets the students' different field of learning, which affects their learning experience. Discipline refers to specific knowledge learned through a method which the scholars use to study a specific content of their field, which is the only focuses on their major subjects. Discipline design model of curriculum is often used in college, but not in elementary or secondary level. It is not applicable in elementary and secondary. It is because they have not yet chosen their field of specialization.
Good day to each and everyone, especially to our instructor, Mrs. Natalie Aldeminar, ma'am. So I'll be continuing the lesson 2, approaches to curriculum designing. So here we are in correlation design. Coming from a core correlated curriculum, design links separate subject designs in order to reduce fragmentation. So what this correlation itself means? So it is a mutual connection between two or more things or subjects. And the objectives of this design is to reduce the fragmentation of learning. So subjects are related to one another and still maintain their identity. So even though the subjects are related and merged in one, we can still recognize them as the original because of its content. So for example, English literature and social studies correlate well in the elementary level. In the two subjects, while history is being studied, at the same time, the different literary pieces during the historical period are also being studied. So the same is true when science becomes the core. Mathematics is related to it as they are taken in chemistry, physics, and biology. Because science is a systematic study of the structure and behavior of the natural world through observation and experiment, and mathematics is part of it in a sense that when conducting experiments, we have to measure its chemicals compound in order to have an accurate results, and as well as the chemistry, which we can find the table of elements, the physics as the study of matter and energy, and biology that studies organism, anatomy, and more. So another example is literature as the core, with art, music, history, geography related to it. To correlated design, teachers should come together and plan their lessons cooperatively. So, but why? should teachers come together and plan their lessons, because even the subjects are related to each other, we cannot assure that these and other subjects will be tackled at one time. Still, the related subjects have their own meaning, like arts that are about colors, drawings, music that all about rhythm and genre, rhythm and history that all about pastime and so on. So the teacher should teach each subject to the students to have a balanced learning. So let's go on broad field design interdisciplinary. So broad field design interdisciplinary is a variation of the subject-centered design. So here in field design, it is already subject-centered, while the correlation is core correlated. So this design was made to cure the compartmentalization of the separate subject and integrate the contents that are related to one another. So what is compartmentalization means? Compartmentalization is a division of subject into section, and this design can cure compartmentalization, and the separated subject are being integrated according to the related content, such as geography, economics, the science, anthropology, sociology, and history are fused into one subject and called social studies. So it was already merged in one subject, and this could be the easy way to study both of the subjects. And as well as the language arts will include grammar, literature, linguistics, spelling, and composition. So it is already easy for us to identify where are these subjects related to by its contents. So this design was also called holistic curriculum. Broad fields draw around themes and integration, which means the holistic is related to the idea that things should be studied as a whole. Then the interdisciplinary is quite similar to thematic design, which means thematic design is a way of learning where many areas of the curriculum are being integrated within the theme. So just like interdisciplinary design, where a specific theme is identified and all other subject areas revolve around the theme. So here we go to the learner-centered design. Among the progressive educational psychologists, the learner is the center of the educative process. So it is true that we students are the center of the educative process because we are the reason why education exists. If we people do not like to be a knowledgeable one, so there are no reason to put self-center in the educative process. So this emphasis is very strong in the elementary level. However, more concern has been placed on the secondary and even the tertiary levels. Although in high school, the subject or content has become the focus, and in the college level, the discipline is the center, both levels still recognize the importance of the learner in the curriculum. So here are some examples of curriculum design which are learner-centered, and it will be discussed by the next reporter. Thank you.
Good day everyone. I am Chariety Panugaling, and for my topic, I will be discussing the examples of curriculum which are learner-centered. Let's start with 2.1, Child-Centered Design. It refers to designing products for children by incorporating children's perspective, needs, and rights at the heart of the design process. So in this curriculum structure, students have opportunities and increased responsibility to identify their own learning needs. It is to find, choose, and incorporate their own knowledge based of course on their needs and interests. Designers must be keenly aware of the physical, cognitive, social, and emotional development of the children they are designing for. So, a great teacher must know that their students are on different levels and have different ways of processing information. The curriculum design is anchored on the needs and interests of the child. Students are given opportunities to make choices about their own learning and also contribute to the design learning. Next, the learner is not considered as passive individual, but one who engages with his or her environment. One learns from doing. It means learning from experiences resulting directly from one's own action. Learners actively create, construct meanings as viewed by the constructivist. So, what is constructivist or constructivism? Constructivism is an approach to learning that holds students actively construct or make their own knowledge, and that reality is determined by the experiences of the learners. Learners interact with the teachers and the environment. Thus, this is a collaborative effort on both sides to plan lessons, select content, and do activities together. Interact with the teacher, and the students may stimulate the involvement in the classroom. It fuels students' motivation and helps students see the relevance of teacher's topic. This design is often attributed to the influence of John Dewey, Rousseau, Pestalozzi, and Froebel. So let's proceed to 2.2, Experience-Centered Design. It is concerned with designing for the richness of human experience with a wide variety of new technologies and media that are available. Of course, we can become very excited by the potential of mobile computing, social media, and the ways in which the learner interact with each other. The impulse to use this development is to give people the chance to have a richer life and to ensure that everybody has a chance to have their say, especially to those who often voiceless. Experience-centered design believes that the interests and needs of learners cannot be pre-planned. Learners are made to choose from the various activities that the teachers provide. Experience is ever developing. The experiences are planned by taking activities or problems from real life relating to the needs and interests of children. Children are empowered to shape their own learning from the different opportunities given by the teacher. Activities revolve around different emphases such as touching, feeling, imagining, constructing, relating, and others. Remember that experiences of the learners become the starting point of the curriculum. Now, let's talk about 2.3, which is humanistic design. It is also called person-centered education. It is an approach to education based on the work of humanistic psychologists, most notably Abraham Maslow and Carl Rogers. Empathy, caring about students, and genuineness on the part of the learning facilitator were found to be the key traits of the most effective teachers. So, through conscious use of positive words, actions, and facial expressions of a teacher, provide students the hope to keep striving to learn and grow. Carl Rogers believed that a person can enhance self-directed learning by improving self-understanding, the basic attitude to guide behavior. The learning concentrates upon development of the student's self-concept. If the student feels good about him or herself, then that is a positive start. In humanistic curriculum design, the development of self is the ultimate objective of learning. It stresses the whole person and the integration of thinking, feeling, and doing. So when you are feeling good about yourself, involves an understanding of your talents, strengths, and weaknesses, and a belief in your ability to improve. It considers the cognitive, affective, and psychomotor domains to be interconnected and must be addressed in the curriculum. When a student becomes stronger and more focused, all of us will benefit from a generation that is contributing to our communities and in our world in so many ways.
Good day everyone, I am Mary Glen Botoy and my topic is about problem-centered design. So do you know what is problem-centered design? Generally, problem-centered design draws on social problems, needs, interests, and abilities of learners. Various problems are given emphasis. These are those that center life situation, contemporary problems of areas living, and many others. In this curriculum, content cuts across subject boundaries and must be based on the needs, concerns, abilities of the students. So there are two examples of problem-centered design. Number one, live situation design and core problem design. That is the number two. So let's tackle about live situation design. Live situation design is what makes the design unique, and that content or originalized ways allow students to view clearly problem and areas. It is used the past and the present experiences of the learning as the mean to analyze the basic areas of living. As a starting point, the pressing immediate to be problem of the society and the students' existing concerns and utilized. Based on Herbert Spencer's curriculum writing, his emphasis were activities that sustain life, enhance life, aid rearing children, maintain the individual's social and political relations, and enhance leisure, tasks, and feelings. The connection of the subject matters to real situation increase relevance of the curriculum. And number two is the core problem design. Core problem design is another example of problem-centered design or core design. It centers on general education and the problem are based on the common human activities. The central focus of the core design includes common needs, problems and concerns of the learners. Popularized by Fons and Bossing of 1959, it presented ways on how to proceed using core design of a curriculum. So now I would like to discuss there are the steps how to use the common problem curriculum. So step 1, make group conscious on important problems. Step 2, develop criteria for section of important problem. Step 3, state and define the problem. Step 4, decide on areas of study including class grouping. Step 5, list the needs and information of resources. Step 6, obtain and organize the information. Step 7, analyze and interpret the information. Step 8, state and tentative conclusion. Step 9, present a report to the class including by the group. Step 10, evaluate the conclusions. And the last one, step 11, explore the other answers for further problem solving. So that's all about from our topic, and thank you for listening.
So this is a continuation of problem-centered design, the approaches to curriculum design, which includes the child or learner-centered approaches and subject-centered approaches. Child or learner-centered approaches, it is about shifting the focus of instructions from the instructor to the learning. It means that the child must be the center of the educational process. It should be the learner, not the teacher, not even the subject. So there are some principles of child or learner-centered approaches. The first one is acknowledge and respect the fundamental rights of the child. So meaning, teacher must give more attention to student, like respecting their freedom to speak, their perspective, their point of views, and also their concerns. The second one is make all activities revolve around the overall development of the learner. It means focuses on the students where you can see their improvement and capacity in learning. The third one is consider the uniqueness of every learner in a multicultural classroom. So when we say multicultural classroom, you may or you must consider the quality of being one of a kind learner, like accepting their different kinds of beliefs and religion and embracing their flaws. In short, no to discrimination. And the fourth one is consider using differential instruction or teaching. So as a teacher, you may use alternative objectives in teaching. Then the last one principle is provide a motivating, supportive learning environment for the entire learner. As a teacher, you should encourage students to study well, to achieve their goals in life, and to be one of a successful professional in the future. So there are some advantages of the child or learner-centered approaches. The first one is improves participation, improves retention of knowledge, boosts performance at work, develop problem-solving skills, fosters collaborative learning, and makes learning more fun and facilitates personalized learning. Meaning, as a learner, show you're confident to improve your participation and to maintain your knowledge, to help yourself to perform or participate well, to flourish your skills in problem solving, enrich your learning, and make it the learning more fun. So let's proceed to disadvantages. It is an approach to learning with not as much structure or discipline as a traditional method, causing students to feel overwhelmed and maybe not pull as much as from learning as they normally would. So, do not use in teaching too much broad for students to learn. So now, let's proceed to subject-centered approaches. Subject-centered approaches revolves around a particular subject matter or discipline. So when we say subject-centered, it should be subject, only focus on the subject. Principles of subject-centered curriculum approach. The first one is primary focus is a subject matter. So subject should be the primary focus on it. The second one is the emphasis on bits and pieces of information which may be detached from life. So it is connected to real life that will bring your learnings not just within the campus but outside the school. The third one is the subject matter serves as a means of identifying problems of living, and the learning means accumulation of content or knowledge. The fifth one is teacher's rule is to dispense the content. So meaning the subject serves as a tool. Then as a teacher, you must gather and contribute the content or to give more information about the particular subject to the students. So the advantages of the subject-centered is it is possible and desirable to determine in advance what children will learn in various subjects and grades or classes. So it is possible to find out what might be the learnings of the students, and easy to predict if the students learn from different kinds of subjects. So here's the disadvantages. Lack of integration and passive learning. Passive learning means students are less involved in the learning experience.
Problem-centered approach. This approach is based on a design which assumes that in the process of living, children experience problems. Thus, problem solving enables the learners to become increasingly able to achieve complete or total development as individuals. So, in curriculum designing, you must always consider that the learners may encounter problems, especially in their lives. So, this problem-centered approach gives a vehicle or way to achieve the goals and objectives that is identified in the curriculum. So here are some views and beliefs that characterize the problem-centered approach. First, the learners are capable of directing and guiding themselves in resolving problems, thus developing every learner to be independent. This means learners are intended to manage one's own learning and become independent to respond to the difficulties in life. Second, the learners are prepared to assume their civic responsibilities through direct participation in different activities. So, since learners are well trained to solve real problems, they will be prepared to participate in different activities. And the third one, the curriculum leads the learners in the recognition of concerns and problems in seeking solutions. Learners are problem solvers themselves, and that makes them independent. So now let's tackle about curriculum design tips. First, identify the needs of stakeholders early in the curriculum design process. This can be done through needs analysis, which involves the collection and analysis of data related to the learner. So, when making a curriculum design, always identify the needs and wants of your learner. And how will you do this? Of course, through a survey. You will conduct a survey so that you can identify their needs and wants. And after identifying the needs and wants of your learners, this is when you can create a list of learning and goals and outcomes. Learning goals and outcomes. So, what is learning goals and outcomes? Learning goals are the things teachers want students to achieve in the course. It is what an instructor and the institution aims to do for their learners. And learning outcomes are the measurable knowledge, skills, and attitude that students should have achieved in the course. Example of these is the knowledge, comprehensive, analysis, and etc. Next one, identify constraints that will impact the curriculum design. So, when you say constraints, barriers, mga hadlang. So, example of this is time. Time is a common constraint that must consider. If there isn't enough time to deliver all the instruction that has been planned, it will impact learning outcomes. Exactly. This is right because when the instruction is not well delivered, can you even understand the activity that is given to you? Diba dili? So, dapat imo i-identify din mo ang mga hadlang sa pagbuhat nimo og curriculum design. Next one, consider creating a curriculum map so that you can properly evaluate the sequence and coherence of instruction. The next one, identify the instructional methods that will be used throughout the course and consider how they will work with student learning styles. What are those examples of these instructional methods? Here are some examples. Group discussion, role-playing, self-instruction, simulation, lecture. So it's up to you what kind of instructional methods you are going to use for you to be able, the learners will be able to learn. Next one, establish evaluation method that will be used at the end and during the school year to assess learners, instructors, and the curriculum. The most effective evaluation is ongoing and summative. So this is where you can see and allowed to see if the curriculum design if the curriculum design is effective and have achieved your goals and objectives. So how will you do this? What kind of evaluation method you are going to use? Example of this, test, midterm, final exam, and final activities and output. So the last one, remember that curriculum design is not one-step process. Continuously, improvement is necessity. The design of the curriculum should be assessed periodically and refined based on assessment data. This may involve making alteration of the design pathway through the course to ensure that learning outcomes or a certain level of proficiency will be achieved at the end of the course. So there is always an evaluation. Sa evaluation, diha nimo siya makita kung nabakay angay utrohon, kung na-achieve ba nimo ang imuhang goals and objectives ko. So if wala, ayaw pag-stick, dapat imo siya i-improve nimo ang imuhang design.